Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Paul Pogba's been sent messages from Gareth Bale and Paulo Dybala. We'll also be looking at Sandro, a few other players, because traditionally Saturday night is the end of the football news week. Sunday morning means new Sunday papers, means new headlines, and we will be looking at that a little bit obviously over the weekend. But what I want to start doing on a Saturday night really is reviewing the week, because that's what we do. We look at your live comments big time. But let me also remind you, if you've not missed it, just a little bit of fun really. I mean, you get called obsessed. I don't really care. I don't like Liverpool. I never ever have. And what is funny about this Liverpool Fekir deal being off with Leon is that they all are. They're more. What Liverpool remind me of, sort of like I don't know. They're like they want to be at the party, but they've got the wrong shirts. They think that they're it. They think because they scammed their way to the Champions League with the one-man team Salah, they think they're suddenly part of the big boy party or the big girl party. Let's not be sexist. And it's like they don't. They just make themselves. They're a banter club. They've not won the title for nearly 30 years, and they announce players, good players, before the deal's done, and it has gone totally against them. Like, so many of their top red accounts have been saying he's done a medical, he's even already filmed his interview of when he's going to be unveiled. He's definitely coming to Liverpool. If not, it's going to be Fekir Friday. Oh, it's going to be tomorrow now. And then Leon have said, no, it's going to be never. You're not having him. And they've made themselves look stupid. Now, I'm not going to dwell on it, because Liverpool will still go and buy somebody and they'll say he's better than Fekir. That's how it works. But they are a banter club, aren't they? They think they're a big club again because they got to Champions League final. They're not, and they're not going to win the league. But anyway, talk about Manchester United. Who's going to be next for us as well? I want to talk about that. Let's talk about this Gareth Bale thing first of all. Then Pogba, Instagram, World Cup, and Gareth Bale replied to him on Instagram and said, what colour is your hair going to be, red or blue? A lot of United fans think, well, why has Bale done that? He never really does stuff like that. He's not really a social media hugger, you know, he's not. But then he's messaging Paul Pogba. What's that all about? Why does he want to be friends with Paul Pogba? So there was some talks in the press this morning that the talks for Bale to United have intensified. Personally, I don't think anything matters in relation to Gareth Bale until Real Madrid announce a new manager. And I really do. I really do. And also, Dybala has spoken about Pogba as well, said they got on really, really well. If he came back to Juventus, then they could be good friends again. So it's not about Dybala coming our way. It's about him going to Juventus. I mean, Juventus can't afford Paul Pogba. I don't know why this nonsense starts getting spoken about, that Paul Pogba could go back to Juventus. They can't afford him. We overpaid for him in the first place, 90 million. Unless they're going to give us 150, which they can't afford. Pogba to Juventus is just pie in the sky. It's clearly not going to happen. What I am interested in about, though, is who United's next signing going to be. And I think the Sandro one, he is the thumbnail. He is the one that I think Manchester United should be going for. And I want us to go to as well. It's all about where Manchester United go next, obviously. I think that we know that people like Savic, whether they're pie in the sky signings or not, Kovacic at Real Madrid, whoever you want to talk about, Ronaldo, these are all players who are now, most of them, in Russia. So they're not, and they're going to be in Russia for quite a while. And the transfer deals are not going to get done with players who are part of the World Cup. Never. Not going to happen. Can't see it happening. I know it happened a little bit in the Euros, but I can't see it happening in a World Cup. This is the biggest tournament of many of these players' careers, and national team managers and setups will not want them dealing with transfers. So I can't see that happening. Sandro's not part of the World Cup. Juventus want him to sign a new contract. United can do a deal with him. Duncan Castles said that they were in advanced talks a week ago. Fabrizio Romano said nothing at the moment, but who knows what might happen next week. He is the left back we need at Manchester United. He is who I think we'll go in for next, but that's just a personal opinion. And if we get him, I'll be very happy. If you didn't see the video today, really, really good video. Lots of people got involved in it about what our squad looks like now. And if we keep Luke Shaw, that means Ashley Young's going to be our left back. Simple as. Nothing's going to change there, and it needs to change. The other thing I wanted to talk about was Rebelta, who was the head scout that we brought in from Juventus. I saw this in the Manchester Evening News, and it's a really good thing that prompted in my mind, because we've not really heard anything about him. Spanish scouts, and got him from Juventus. Very, very good reputation from Juventus. Came into Manchester United last summer, and we've not really heard anything, but I think you can already see that there is a change in the way Manchester United are looking at things, because people say, oh, Mourinho's changed the way he's going. He's gone for Dalot, a 19-year-old. I don't think that's anything to do with Mourinho per se. I think this is to do with Rebalta, the scout that we brought in from Juventus. It's exactly the sort of signing he would go for. And if you effectively look at probably what he's looking at the moment, it is that younger player like a Dalot who can be a superstar of the future, which is the United way, which is great. But I think also there's that look for an older player with a point to prove. And I think this is why people like Mandzukic or Arnautovic or people like that may be being looked at, because maybe that's what United sort of need, somebody with a bit of experience, bit of a point to prove. But I do think we are starting now, he's had a year at the club, we are starting to see the benefits of going out and getting one of the best scouts in world football, and I think Dalot is probably something a lot to do with him, which I just thought I'd mention as well. A little bit further in relation to Milinkovic-Savic, I mean, take it or leave it. This is what's been said. He says that he obviously likes Zidane, but he would say his game is more like Yaya Toure, and he also said that Matic is the man that he looks up to. Well, Matic is on holiday with Milinkovic-Savic at the World Cup for 3 or 4 weeks. Matic can provide the best Manchester United assist of his whole career by getting his Milinkovic-Savic. They could be roommates. I don't know whether they're rooming together for Serbia or not, but bloody hell, if we want Savic, use Matic. Milinkovic-Savic is always speaking highly of Nemanja Matic, and that could be huge for United. But I do think in relation to Milinkovic-Savic, he's going to leave Lazio and he's going to go 3 places, one of 3 places. Juventus, Manchester United or Real Madrid. That's where I think he'll end up, one of those 3. So we'll have to see what happens with that. And I mean, I just want to throw this one out as well, just to say that, because it's an interesting one. Imagine this scenario. Imagine if Cristiano Ronaldo was actually available and Jose Mourinho didn't go for him because he doesn't want to upset or disrupt Romelu Lukaku. What would your thoughts be about that? I know what my thoughts would be, but it is only just past 8 o'clock. It's not 9 o'clock yet. But I think if Ronaldo's available, if Gareth Bale's available, even if Griezmann's available, if Neymar's available, yeah, you might have your doubts about age, personality, injury records, whatever. But if a player of that quality, i.e. top 5 players in the world, becomes available, you get them, don't you? If Ronaldo's available and we've got the money, get him. If Bale's available and we've got the money, get him. I mean, it really is that simple. And I really like Romelu Lukaku, but come on. I mean, I can think of 7 or 8 strikers I would replace Lukaku with who aren't Ronaldo, Messi, people like that. So if Ronaldo was available, you'd have to let him go. Sick of seeing centre-backs links with United, says Kieran Byrne. We already have 7. Well, if you did watch that video at lunchtime, Kieran, and I hope a lot of you did, it really does go through what Manchester United's squad is at the moment. I might have it up here for you. Let me see if I can just show it you, if it will change. It should do. It's not going to. It's decided to be slow, which is fantastic. There you go. So that's just a little bit of a glimpse of what our squad actually is at the moment with Fred and Dalot there, and obviously assuming we get rid of Darmian and we get rid of Blind. But that 5 centre-backs there, all experienced. For me, as I've said many, many times before, and I said it in the video today, that's the area to go for. Right midfielder, and a left-back. They're the next 3 signings because that's where we are weakest. Centre-back, it's a nice little extra. Support striker, nice little extra. But the 3 most important positions for me, left back, midfielder, right midfielder, and actually, if we're not going to get all 3, in order of what we need, another midfielder, then a left back, and then a right midfielder. That's what I would go with. Anyway, let's go through some of your comments because it is Saturday Night Live. Please do drop a like on the video. Please do share the video. It's all about you lot now for the next half an hour or so. Just going to blitz through live comments because this is what we do. End of the transfer week, Saturday night. On the United stand, it's like a transfer debrief. Chuck your questions in. I'm going to be busy for the next 20 minutes, so let's go. Go. Okay, if our transfer budget is above 250 million, then it's possible for us to get quality players, says Ronit. Well, yeah, we've spent 70 already on Dalot and Fred. 100 million on Milinkovic-Savic, 170 million. 50 million on Sandro, 220 million. 30 million on Willian, 250 million. There you go. And that's not if, and obviously if we sell some players, that will come down. I don't think, okay, that team's not good enough. We need a right winger very badly, says Hamza. Yeah, I think when you look at it like that, you do. Mata and Lingard, for me, not good enough there, and we're not going to play Sanchez there. Timo Werner, says Sally Devil Red 7. Fantastic player. Cannot see him coming to Manchester United. I think he'd be on Manchester United's radar. I just don't think we'd be able to give him enough game time. Lukaku's garbage, says Casso. I think Lukaku does a good job for us. He needs service. I think he could have scored a lot more goals this season if we created more chances for him. Is Sanchez... I can't read that question. Is there any truth in De Gea rumours to Real Madrid, says Vishnu? I don't think so. I mean, you look at that. You look at what Manchester United need to do. We've made 2 signings already. Most people think we need another 3 signings. If De Gea goes... we need a centre-back, because De Gea, you'd need 2 world-class centre-backs if we lose De Gea, because De Gea is not replaceable. He's not replaceable. We ship goals all over the place. Sandro is a must, says Jan Sherrell. And Black God says Alexandro, Toby Alderweireld and Milinkovic-Savic. Nobody else matters. Lukaku's not good enough. I've already read that, John. Please don't repeat the comment. Left back for me should be our main concern, Mark, says Kieran Holder. A good left back helps so much to create a good attack. We lacked that since Evra. It's all about the balance for me. It's all about the balance for me. I think left back is, and I've said this before, it's the thinking United fans' priority, really. We do need another midfielder. Definitely we do, because hopefully Fellaini will go. But a left back is so important. I will say this categorically. If Fellaini stays, we're not winning the league. If Ashley Young plays at left back, first choice, we're not winning the league. And I'll say that now, before a ball's even been kicked. I'm very, very confident of those things. And that's, low expectations or what. Who's better, Milinkovic-Savic or Fred, says Sidemen Universe. Different sort of players. If I was picking, I'm very excited about the signing about Fred, because he's something we haven't had at the club in a long time. A small, quick, good on the ball, likes a dribble, flair player. So box to box, I'm excited about Fred. Milinkovic-Savic, I would be very excited about. 3 years younger, tall, good touch, scores goals, aggressive. 2 very different players. I would like to see both at Manchester United. I don't know whether it will happen. M7MDX2 says he's left E3 just for me, Mark. I don't know what that is. Is that what's E3? I don't know what it is. Hi, Mark. Great to see you, mate. I think it'll be Sandro or Toby Alderweireld, says Daniel Badanga. It looks like with Alderweireld, we're going to get our pants pulled down big time, because it looks like Daniel Levy wants like 60 million north. He's quoting what Van Dijk went for, which was 75 million, which you can sort of understand, but we should not be going over 50 million for him. And I mean, that's a massive amount of money. The thing that bothers me about Toby Alderweireld, I've mentioned them all. Age, injury record, whatever. He's a top-class centre-back. But what worries me the most is the amount of money we're going to spend on our transfer budget for a player we don't actually need. Like I say, left-back midfielder and the right midfielder are more important than a centre-back. We can get by with the 5 experienced centre-backs we've got. Toby Alderweireld could come in and mean we don't get a good midfielder or a left-back. That's not good. It's a bit, but it wouldn't surprise me if it happened, because it's a bit like the signing of Alexis Sanchez. We went and made Alexis Sanchez the best paid player in the Premier League to play on our left wing. We had 2 people playing on the left wing already who were doing a great job between them. Rashford and Martial were doing a great job on that left-hand side, and we went and spent massive amounts of money on wages to bring in another left winger. It was ridiculous, and he's been a flop. He'll be good next season, but he was a flop, and he ruined Martial and Rashford and Pogba, and he was rubbish. And we didn't need to do that. We had positions that needed sorting out. Midfield, right midfielder, and we went and bought a left midfielder. So I wouldn't be surprised if we spent 70 million on a centre-back and neglected obvious areas like a left-back and a midfielder, because we've done it already. He's done it already with Sanchez. We didn't need that left midfielder. We needed him to play on the right. Sabatashi says, is Juan Mata the answer to the number 10 problem? No, not anymore, Sabatashi. I don't think so. I think I really like Juan Mata, but we were having this conversation under David Moyes with Mata. We were having this conversation under Van Gaal with Mata. And we're having the same conversation with Mourinho 5 years later. He's never been played at that number 10 position consistently, and I don't think he ever will be. We need more of aggressive... Well, Iller says if we go and get Savic, Sandro and Ronaldo, end of story. But we still don't solve the left-back position. So I think even if we did get Savic, Sandro... Oh no, Sandro. Think, mate. So Savic, Sandro and Ronaldo would do me, mate, definitely, because Sandro is a left back. We need more of an aggressive player who's not afraid to get stuck in. Milinkovic-Savic is very aggressive, loves to get in a tackle, loves to get in people's faces, likes a yellow card. That's something I'd like to see as well. Frank McAvoy says, how many more players do you think we need? I think Milinkovic-Savic and Sandro, I'd come out the transfer window happy. Milinkovic-Savic, Sandro and a Ronaldo or Bale, I'd come out of it ecstatic. Milinkovic-Savic, Sandro, Willian and Toby Alderweireld, I'd be very happy. It's got to be at least two. For me, it's the left back and the midfielder, and anything else is a bonus. Realistically, that's what it is. Would I swap Pogba or Sanchez for Savic, says Paul Pogba. I hope you're not the real one, Paul. I know you're probably in your hotel room, a little bit bored. No, I wouldn't swap Pogba for Milinkovic-Savic because he wouldn't go to Lazio. But if in a hypothetical no, I would swap Alexis Sanchez because Alexis Sanchez for a midfielder, yeah, you're losing an attacking player, but Martial can do that job. So, well, I mean, good question here from Ahmed Sleman, who says Griezmann is good on the right. I don't know what's happening with Griezmann. He said that he was going to announce his future before the World Cup. And I thought he'd do that this weekend. So, maybe he's not going to do it. Just Mutton says, Mark, when will you be talking about Lenglet? A quick opinion about him. We've spoken about him a couple of times. You probably just missed the videos. Clement Lenglet, who is a French, early 20s, 6'2", centre-back, plays for Sevilla. Put Lukaku in his pocket in the two legs. Very, very good up-and-coming centre-back. Barcelona want him. 30 million release clause. I would take him over Toby Alderweireld. I did hear something, and I've not really spoken about it because I don't know how credible the source is, but I did hear that Clement Lenglet is Manchester United's #1 centre-back target. Toby Alderweireld they would like, but they won't overpay for him. Lenglet is more likely. I hope that's the truth. I hope it is. What about Dybala on the right wing, says Michael B. I don't think the way Dybala's talking, he wants to come to Manchester United. I don't think we can sign Dybala because Dybala would cost 150 million and we need too many other areas to be improved. Okay. Sanchez deserves a full season before we can judge. January buys are notoriously hit and miss. Sanjay, I agree with you. He's coming back training in about a couple of weeks' time. No World Cup for him. Full pre-season. Go on the US tour. Hit the season running. We should see the proper Alexis Sanchez. He said that himself. What 4 players would you sell? Says Ryan Leon XX. Well, I want to see what everybody else says in the live comments for that. Get your comments in. What 4 players would you sell if you could only sell 4? For me, Darmian, Blind, Fellaini, Phil Jones. That's what I would sell. Yeah, definitely. Don't go after Pogba yet because next season you may regret it. However, he needs to be shaken a bit because he likes to prove people wrong. Dean Kazaboff, you're very right. I've not gone after Pogba. I never have. I think he's been a bit inconsistent in the 2 years here. But I think, I've said it before, Pogba is like Mourinho to me. He needs this 3rd year. I understand why people don't want to give Pogba a 3rd year, why they don't want to give Mourinho a 3rd year. That's their prerogative. But for me, I'm the same with both. I think they do need that 3rd year. But Pogba's got to kick on. Pogba's got to have a good World Cup as well. He needs a good World Cup. Having said that, I remember David Beckham having a terrible World Cup in '98. Got himself sent off. England went out because of him. He was castigated by the country. They couldn't stand him. United went and won the treble and he was arguably one of our best players. So a bad World Cup for France for Pogba could be the kick up the backside that makes him great for United. Who's to say a great World Cup for Pogba means he comes back to us up his own arse and doesn't put the work in. So, or he could come back and believe. I don't know. I think, but we'll have to wait and see. I'd like to see Pogba do well because he's a United player. Any news on Martial, says Aditya? No. I mean, the thing about the transfer window at the moment is we've done all right. Delo, Fred, good deals. Need to get a couple of people out the door. It's gone a little bit quiet at the moment because obviously a lot of players who aren't part of the World Cup will be on their holidays and they'll be coming back around the end of this month. So I think the way the transfer window is going to go, I don't think it's going to go quiet by any means. I think there'll be some big stories ongoing because it won't just all be about the World Cup. But in relation to people leaving, they'll be starting, their agents will start doing some work over the next few weeks. Yeah, definitely. Sell Blind, Darmian and Jones and Smalling. Fellaini was already gone, in my opinion, says Daniel Anthony. A true left-footed left-back and a true left winger, says Alan Bentley. Alex Ball, we will sign Toby but still play Jones or Smalling. Yeah, maybe. And Savic, Sandro and a right winger and I'll be very happy, says Luke Flynn. Has Jose turned into an analytical manager rather than a strategic manager, which he used to be earlier, says Rahul. Very interesting point that, because Edwin van der Sar, ex-Manchester United goalkeeper, very good Manchester United goalkeeper, Champions League winning Manchester United goalkeeper in 2008, he said that Jose Mourinho needs to play attacking football for the fans. He needs to entertain the fans. And he's spot on. We can sign whoever we like. We can bring whatever attacking, exciting coaches we want to bring in. We can appear to be making the right steps. But if Mourinho goes into next season with the same approach he's had over the last season, we're not going to improve, because it is all about the tactics. It is all about the momentum in the team. It is all about the speed of movement from back to front. And we need to be more progressive, and we need to be not one of the laziest teams in the Premier League, one of the fittest and most aggressive pressing teams in the league. That's what we need to do. So we can sign whoever we like. You could argue that, yeah, Fred, Sandro, Milinkovic-Savic, even a Willian, they are good players that are going to improve our squad. But we already had good players last year. Lukaku, Pogba, Lingard, Rashford, Martial, Mata. These are all good attacking players. Alexis Sanchez, who didn't perform well. And they didn't perform well because the movement of the ball was too slow. The tactics were too conservative. If you could sign only, if you could only sign either a left back or a second midfielder, what would you choose and why? Says Sophie. Left back or a midfielder? What did I choose and why? I would go for a left back. I really would, because the reality is, if it's one or the other, and let me know what you would go for, because I'm really interested. The reality is, if we don't sign another midfielder, we've got Fred, Matic, Pogba, McTominay, Herrera, Fosu Mensah, Pereira. I think we could just about get by. It would be tight, but we could just about get by. If we were to sign Milinkovic-Savic, yes, that would be great. But you've still got Ashley Young playing left back, and that is a problem. It's a huge problem for us. So for me, it would be the left back. Yeah, that's the left back is the most important signing. Although I'm sure I said a few minutes ago the midfielder is. It's such a good question, but I think when I think about it, actually, I'll change my mind and say you can't win anything with Ashley Young at left back. You can't win anything decent with Ashley Young at left back because he's not a left back. He's a good squad player, but he's not a left back. In fact, he's a better right back than a left back because he's got balance. Craig McCullough Games says, I'm confident Martial would stay. Would be a waste to sell young talent like that. I think the club want him to stay, Craig, and we want him to stay, but we'll wait and see. United and Talk says left back. Left back is a first choice left back, says Michael B. Maranel Menden says left back as well. Liam Michael says left back. Midfielder, if he plays Shaw at left back, says Genova 11. Well, I would agree with that. If Luke Shaw was going to be our first choice left back, then I wouldn't sign a left back. But we've already seen that when Mourinho has a choice between Luke Shaw and Ashley Young, he chooses Ashley Young. So I would like to see Luke Shaw leave Manchester United. I really like the lad, but he's never going to get. All he's ever going to be is a backup left back at United, and that's not good enough for him. Alex Bell says our next signing will be Fekir from Lyon. You know what, Alex? It dropped into my head about 20 minutes before I went live. But I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I don't want Fekir at Manchester United. I don't see what he brings to us. I know exactly what sort of player he is. He's an attacking midfielder. He's a potentially in his prime Juan Mata. But those sort of players, your Kagawas, your Mkhitaryan's, your Matas, they don't work at Manchester United. And I don't want Fekir at Manchester United. He hasn't got the pace. He's like Mkhitaryan. He's like Kagawa. He's like Mata. He's quick, but he's not blisteringly quick. And United we don't need that sort of player. We don't use that sort of player very well. So I wouldn't want Fekir at Manchester United. He's a good player, but I wouldn't want him at United. And I said that even when Liverpool were in for him. There's no Griezmann news, Mark. Says, no, there isn't any cart horse monks. David James says, how is Sir Alex doing, Mark? Well, he was discharged from hospital this week, wasn't he, a few days ago. We purposely haven't spoken on here. Obviously, we spoke about it a few weeks ago when it came out that he was seriously ill. But it's all part of the rehab, and his family have asked for privacy. And I think until we see Sir Alex back at Old Trafford and that, I think we should all reserve judgment on it. Just because he's been released from hospital, it's good. But we don't know whether there's going to be, you know, he's had a brain illness, hasn't he? He could make a full recovery, or there might be some ramifications from it. So I just think, you know, give him that time to recover, but it's positive that he's been discharged from hospital. We need Eden Hazard, says Rohit Ray. Don't know about that. I wish we got Griezmann, says Kane Pogba. Chris Muddy says Sandro, Tierney or Ryan Sessegnon. Sandro every day for me, and then Ryan Sessegnon, and then Tierney. That would be the three choices I would go in that order. Would you take 6th next season but winning the league the season after, says Ermius. They're such ridiculously hard questions to answer, because if we finish 6th next season, Mourinho will be gone. So you're basically saying that the next manager is going to win the league. I want Jose to win us the league next year. That's what I want us to do. If I said 6th next season with us winning the league next year, I may as well be Mourinho out now, because if he finishes 6th next season, I will be Mourinho out. So, no, I wouldn't take that. I want us to do well next year. Heard that Philip Max wants to move to MEFC, a left-footed left-back. Mark, thoughts? Yes, Rehab, I'd read about that. He's 24, isn't he? He's arguably one of the best left-backs in Germany. I've not heard. I read that article, but it was not anything I would go, wow, we're in for him or not. It was, and it's not even directly from him. It was a source close to him. So I would hold on that. Yeah, I don't think it's worth really mentioning. Although we have mentioned it. Ben Johnson, if we don't win the title next year, Mourinho should leave. I think that will happen, Ben. I don't think we need to say anything more than that. Kaza says, does Mourinho tune in to listen to Mark's wisdom? I very much doubt it. DJ, although I have heard that some people do watch the United Stand, but I can neither confirm or verify that. DJ Inferno, Mark, do you think we really need to sign players to free up Pogba? Why don't we sign midfielders that can perform consistently without excuses of wanting better players around him? I agree with that comment. I do agree with that comment. I think Paul Pogba should be able to perform in the midfield too. He should be able to perform anywhere in the midfield. If you're good enough, you can play there. You know, stick Roy Keane on the right wing, he would have had a good game. Stick Brian Robson up front, he would have had a good game. If you're a top player, you can play anywhere. And I think these excuses about Pogba having players around him, I would agree it's not great, but he must be given that 3rd year. Moada says, Fekir will destroy this league playing Klopp football. He won't, mate. You need to get the latest news. And if we fail to win the Premier League but we win the Champions League, would we keep Mourinho? Yeah, of course we would. Of course we would. Alternative to Savic, who is cheaper, says Harshit. I think that Kovacic at Real Madrid's been mentioned quite a lot, but I don't know whether we can deal with them. Verratti's a very different alternative, and I would say that Mourinho wouldn't want 2 really small players in his midfield. Alternatives to Milinkovic-Savic is very, very difficult. There are alternatives. There's plenty of alternatives out there, but they're not high-profile alternatives, so they'd be risk alternatives, wouldn't they? But we shall have to see. We'll have to see. I think that second midfielder, if we're going to get a second midfielder, is going to come in the next month. July is going to be the time for that. I don't think it's going to be the next few weeks. I think June, if we're going to make another signing this month, it's going to be a left back. I feel that we've probably got one more signing before July, and that'll be the left back if it's going to be Alexandro. The right midfielder, the centre back, if we get one, the midfielder, I think they're all playing in the World Cup. So, yeah, I don't think they'll be happening until July. But we've got players to get out the door. And also, if you remember Paul Pogba, when we signed Pogba 2 years ago, it started around the middle of June and he didn't start until the end of July. So, and that was during the Euros. So people who think transfer news is going to disappear because the World Cup's on, of course we're all going to have our eyes on the World Cup. It's the biggest, it's fantastic, the World Cup. But it won't stop. It won't stop. There'll still be big transfer news. There will be, 100%. I've seen it before. Do I think Herrera will leave Pankaj? I don't think he can. I don't think he can, because you look at our midfield, and if Herrera goes, we need 3 midfielders. Herrera might not be first choice midfielder, but he's certainly, when we're playing 3 midfielders, you need 6 midfielders. Rishi says we don't need Sandro, give Shaw a chance. I agree with you, mate, but Mourinho won't do it, so we do need Sandro. Eric says our dream is Savic, our reality is Fellaini. If Fellaini stays, we may not sign a midfielder. It is that simple. It really is. And if you don't believe that, watch the video we did at lunchtime, which was Manchester United's predicted lineup for 2018, which explains perfectly why, if Fellaini stays, we ain't signing another midfielder. It's scary. It's really scary that we have still got that contract on the table for him to sign. We're mugging ourselves off, and we'll be mugging ourselves off big time if he signs it. Verratti is a good alternative, Neville. I just don't know whether we would go for two small midfielders. The Lord of Darkness, I honestly think we are easing our time with Jose. How about Saul Niguez, Mark, says Shaka? Hasn't he got some ridiculous lifetime contract, though, with a massive buyout clause? He'd be very, very hard to get. Plus, I think Atletico Madrid, there's always been this assumption that you can go and get an Atletico Madrid player. Traditionally, they're very hard to get, and they don't normally sell more than one player. So, and also, Atletico Madrid won the Europa League. They've got a new stadium. I think that they probably are looking at maybe having a good shot at the league next season, and that will mean not disbanding. They may well retain Antoine Griezmann, and if they do that, then why would they sell some of their best players? Anthony Curnow asks the most relevant question of the night. Can we do business with Madrid and keep De Gea? Remember Morata? And I remember it, Anthony. I remember it very, very clearly. Last summer we were speaking about this. Morata and all this. And I'd say the same as what I said last year and what a lot of you said last year. At the end of the day, if dealing with Madrid means we could lose De Gea, don't deal with Madrid. And that's always in the back of my head. And I know that means no Bale, no Ronaldo, no Kroos, no Varane, no Kovacic, no who. I don't really care. If it means we keep De Gea, then we don't deal with Real Madrid. Darian Jones. Guys, can more of us subscribe to Sophie's channel? There you go, Darian. And Coke would be a good alternative to Savic, says Massey123. Where would Griezmann play, says Ben Carpenter? Griezmann's not coming to United, is he? Let's be totally honest. And if he does come to United, we can all have a big party. But he's not going to come to United, is he? He isn't going to come. Daz's Football Stand says, hello, guys. Remember to smash that like button, everyone. We always like to go past 500 likes whilst we're live on a show. So please do hit the like button if you are watching. There's a couple of thousand people watching. And remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new. I think we're getting quite close to 235,000 subscribers. So if you are new to this community, get involved. United Stand community, it's fantastic. It's nothing without the live comments, and you all do a fantastic job. Live every night at 8 o'clock. Talking of Sophie, we've got Sophie on the show tomorrow night with Flex as per usual. Sunday night live at 8 o'clock, and then Monday to Friday every morning at 7 AM we've got Transfer Daily. And obviously whenever any news breaks, we go live. So subscribe, get your notifications on. You're all very welcome. If you are new, welcome to the community. You're going to love it. The JLog OMC says, you need to change the intro to over 200,000 subscribers. Well, we don't really, because if you look at it, I'll show you the intro. Going live soon. To over 100,000 subscribers. Well, we've got over 100,000 subscribers, so technically it's right. But yeah, it does need to be changed, but I don't know how to do it. Drawty did that, and he's too busy at the moment, so I don't know how to change it. So that's our intro at the moment. There we go. Jorginho as Milinkovic-Savic alternatively. Apparently City walked away from the deal as Napoli wanted in excess of 60 million, says Manchester United. Well, Manchester City don't like to go over 60 million, do they? So, whoever plays FIFA, opinion on Goretzka. Very, very good player, but I think he's already agreed to go to Bayern Munich. I know Liverpool were looking at him. Good player, but we've never been in for him. I quite liked him, but we just never did we? We never did. George Kyle says Griezmann should play as the number 10. If we played a number 10, we seem to have moved away from that, George, don't we now, with this midfield three? And it looks like we're going to stick with that, with Fred to the right, Matic anchoring and Pogba to the left. Although Sanchez on the left-hand side seems to think he's a number 10, doesn't he? He's always coming inside. Michael J, FIFA 19 have got Champions League licence. Yeah, I don't know. I saw that before I came live. I saw United official Twitter account tweeted it out. I don't know what difference that will make to FIFA, because I've been playing FIFA and never really noticed any difference with the Champions League. The Champions League's still there, isn't it? I presume it just means there'll be a few more graphics and things. Are there any updates on Savic, says the Blue Lion? There was a little one. He has been interviewed and he basically said that Matic is the one player that he's always looked up to. He's on holiday with Matic, isn't he, on the World Cup for Serbia. So Matic, you know, if we want him and Matic is going to be talking to him over breakfast every day, we should get that deal done. And also, it's not even about Matic playing for Manchester United. That's quite a big thing. Hello, Nemanja. Hello, Milinkovic-Savic. Do you want to come to Manchester United? I don't know. I quite like Real Madrid and Juventus. Come to Manchester United. Do you think I'm one of your idols? Yes. Come to Manchester United. Okay. But it's not only about the fact that I play for Manchester United. I've also played in the Premier League for a number of years. It's the best place to be for your game. It will develop you. That sounds even better. Where do I sign? I'll just get Jose and Ed on the phone. And that's how it'll work. That's how it'll work. And they will speak in them accents. Skype show is on a Monday night. We're trying to get Discord set up. I'm hoping to get that set up on Monday, but we do our call in on a Monday night. FC Gaming, I think Valencia will be the captain. Oblak would be a good replacement if we did sell De Gea. Yeah, but how much would we sell De Gea for? Because Oblak would be 80 million. And how would you do that? If we know that Oblak's 80 million, we try and sell De Gea for 150. We go back to Atletico Madrid and they go, yeah, we want 120. You know, it'd be very hard to do that. Very hard to do that. I think United would make it as hard as possible for De Gea to leave United now as well. Captain James 17, is Martial still leaving? I still think he will go. I do. I'm only being pessimistic about that because I absolutely love Anthony Martial and I want him to stay. But I've just about... I think he will go. I think he will go. I do. And I hope I'm wrong. Nahalda says, Mark, my girlfriend is very close with Melanie, Martial's girlfriend. She wants to stay in Manchester because the family is settled and she's due for the second child. But it's down to Mourinho. Whether that's true or not, there you go. That was from somebody in the live comments. Night Whisper, we can't sell De Gea. You sound like Alan Partridge, says Gev Beacon. I love it. I love Alan Partridge, but that wasn't my intention. Ruth Myers says, if Fellaini stays after what he has said, we'll be a laughingstock. We're a laughingstock anyway because we're still putting the contract in front of him. I don't get it. I don't get it. I just think if Dom, Philippe, that offer has always been on the table and they've always refused it. So take it up with them. It's nothing to do with us. How about a 4-3-1-2 with Sanchez as the number 10 and Lukaku and Martial up front? Yes. Kieran Byrne, Mark, Tony Kroos or Gareth Bale? I would take Tony Kroos because I think midfield's more relevant to us. You could just go and get Willian to play on the right. Which player do you reckon is going to be a surprise at the World Cup? Says Trickle Teeth. A surprise player at the World Cup? I think... watch my World Cup preview next week on my channel. I've got quite a few. And I've got a lot ready to stay. Great banter, it really is, says Michael Hubbard. Anyway, Serbians talk like that. Hello, Nemanja, that's how they talk. They don't really. I would take Kroos, Ben Carpenter, yeah. Because he's a midfield option. I purposely... If I had a choice between Milinkovic-Savic and Tony Kroos, I would take Tony Kroos. He's the complete midfielder. I would love him at Manchester United. It won't happen. It won't happen. But he would be my number one. So people say you're obsessed with Milinkovic-Savic. Actually, Tony Kroos is the one I would take. Because the great thing about Tony Kroos is you could play him with Matic. You could drop Matic for him. You could play him with Matic. And he would free Pogba up. He won't come... No, the Lord of Darkness is right. Kroos is absolutely irrelevant. He would never come to United. It won't happen. We wouldn't be allowed to deal. They'd want De Gea in return. It wouldn't happen. David Trainer, Irving Lozano is one of mine. Yes, I think he could have I want Mexico... This is all I'm going to say before my preview of the World Cup next week, which is going to be on my channel. I want, obviously, England to win it, which they won't. But I want Mexico or Colombia to win the World Cup. I would love somebody who's never won it before, who plays good football, to win the World Cup. Obviously, they probably won't, but that's what I want to happen. Speaking of which, make sure you play our World Cup predictor game. It's a through Super Brew. It's free to play. It's going on throughout the World Cup. There's a league table. All you do need to do to enter is click the link in the video description, sign up, that link will automatically put you into the United Stand World Cup Predictor League, and then all you've got to do is make sure that you predict the scores for every game as they come, and if you get the correct scores you get 2 points, if you get a correct result you get 1 point, and we'll all have a United Stand League. I think we've got about 350 people who've entered so far. I think if we get over 1,000 people in it, we'll definitely put up a prize, probably one of these tops or something like that. So link in the video description for that. I don't think it's in there yet actually if you're watching live, but I'll definitely put it in there. So if you give me 5 minutes after we've finished the live show, just come back and click it that way. If you're not watching live, it will already be there. Anthony Muller, you're funny. Okay, it's a Saturday night. I've got a film to watch, so I'm going to get off. And I love the show, though. I think the Saturday night show's great through the summer because we can talk about the transfers that have gone on. We can sort of review where we're at. Because for me, it starts again on a Sunday morning because that's where you get a lot of Sunday press coming in. Sunday night show on the United Stand, and then Monday we start with the Transfer Daily again through till Friday. So Saturday night for me is the end of the transfer week. Please do drop a like on the video if you haven't done it already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We've got a show tomorrow night at 8 o'clock with Sophie and Flex. But if you haven't watched the video I did at 1 o'clock today about United's current squad for 2018, very, very good video. Only 10 minutes long. Lots of comments involved in it. Shows you the squad it is as it is now, what positions we've got, really where we need to improve. Really, really good watch. Give it a watch if you've not seen it. And also, that's on, click the eye in the top right hand corner. That will take you straight to that video. And also the World Cup Predictor below. So a couple of little jobs for you there, but I think you'll really enjoy it. Speak to you all soon. Back tomorrow. Have a great evening. Speak to you all soon.